All right. I'm going to go and see another movie tonight. This time I'm going to see Brightburn. And I'm not going to be stupid like I was last time, people. I'm going to make sure to sneak in my own snacks and my own beer. Yeah, because I ain't paying that kind of money that they expect you to pay for your snacks in there. Who would do that, right?
Fatburn.
What the hell? What the hell was that? It's like a blur. Where'd my peanut butter cups go? Well, that's okay. I got deep pockets. It's as long as I have my beer. Hey. Okay. Not funny. Fine. I'll buy concessions from the damn theater, okay? I know they don't make much money there. I'll buy concessions from the theater. As long as I still have my ticket to go see Brightburn.
Fatburn.
Oh. Okay, whatever you are, you're starting to piss me the frick off. Get your ass out here because that's not cool. I'm not going to put up with this crap. What are you going to do to stop me?
Fatburn. The following movie review is rated R for retarded. In a world full of crime, corruption, and destruction, one man decides to review movies. This is Devil Dog at the Movies.
Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I am back after seeing Brightburn. This will be a spoiler-free movie review, so if you do plan on seeing this, I'm not going to spoil any of the major scenes that's in this film. The overall basic plot of this film is you have a lovely couple from Brightburn, Kansas, who pretty much are unable to have children, and one fateful evening as a comet flies out of the sky and crashes into the ground, much like the origin of Superman, they find a child inside and decide to raise this child as their own. It's not until he gets older into his young teenage years when stuff starts occurring, when he's in school. And the parents pretty much just raise him as their own. The actors that portray the parents do a fantastic job in the nuances of how they generally seem to actually be able to show off their love for each other and their child. And as the story progresses, as the kid starts changing, you realize the kid is not exactly who you think he is. And these parents know right from the start, because there is kind of a big flaw with this movie, I think. In the very beginning scenes they show you, and you kind of get the gist, that the whole plot of this movie is, what if, when Superman crash landed on Earth, that he actually turned evil instead of good? And that's the best way to describe this, is that alternate reality. Let's say if Clark Kent becomes pretty much Brandon. Because they name their kid Brandon, and as he progresses, you realize he's not exactly who he is, and he eventually turns evil and goes around and kills several people. Now, not that many people. I think there's like 6 people that he kills in this film, and the sad thing is if you had the misfortune of watching any of the teaser trailers, they spoiled every single good scene in this movie. Fortunately, I only seen one of the trailers, so and it was the one with the meat locker part. So I didn't get too spoiled on this. But one thing I personally have to say is this is not a bad movie, but it is a boring movie. Now, hold on now. Please, just understand this is strictly my opinion. Your mileage may vary with this film, but let me explain myself first before you hit that dislike button, okay? This movie is very slow-paced. I mean, very, very slow paced. It takes pretty much halfway through the movie before it really starts doing anything. Until that point, it's your normal everyday stuff of the loving couple going out, celebrating birthdays, the kid going to school. It's not until halfway through this stuff starts happening where the kid pretty much starts getting this mindset where he's hearing voices that make him sleepwalk, to where he realizes that the alien spaceship he crash landed in, that the father kept in the basement part of their barn, and he goes out there, and pretty much at that point it starts triggering something in him that makes him evil. The kid was always kind of off. His acting, whoever plays this kid does a great job in acting deadpan emotionalist in terms of not giving a crap about anything. And basically, one thing of another, it starts off with some mild school bullying and some other stuff, but this kid just starts turning against people, just killing them. And fundamentally at first it's for no reasons, but eventually it does start making reasons, and his only purpose of why is basically just to rule the world. He, like I said, he's evil Superman. And the mask and stuff he makes is creepy. But I think once when it starts getting violent and the kills start happening, it kind of turns more into a horror flick, like a Halloween movie, than it really does like this action spectacle. In terms of the mother, especially being a typical mother, loves the child even though it's not technically her kid, and is unwilling to listen to others, including the husband, trying to let her know, listen, there's something wrong with him. Just his behavior, certain things they find. And it's not until damn near the end when she finally realizes, oh crap, he's a monster. And by that time, it's too late. Now, there are, a couple things in this movie of why I personally, in my opinion, did not like it. It's not a bad movie. It's just not my kind of movie because the pacing was not well done. And to me, in my opinion, this proves a good point with a movie. You can make a sequel to a sequel of a sequel or a remake. And if you do it to where the pacing is well done, the acting is well done, and visually it's appealing and it's a good movie, you can be entertained by this movie, okay? But, when you try to do something new, like a nice mix-up like this movie does do with its overall plot and character development, I didn't like it because the pacing was poorly done and the characters seemed... a lot of them were down to earth and realistic, but some of the main characters are really stupid. And to me, it just I did not find it an appealing movie. It seemed as if that, I don't know. The effects, were all CGI too. Most of the effects weren't that great, but they weren't that bad. And the gore effects was a combination of makeup effects and CGI as well. And I will admit, when it comes down to it, this movie does earn its R rating over the fact of just how gory it actually is. I mean, there's not too many people that get killed in this movie, but when they do, it's normally in a very graphic way. I mean, like there's a part with a lady at a diner that's very, very graphic, and later on, there's a tie into that as well. There's a vehicle sequence that is extremely nasty, almost stomach curling gross. There's another part that goes on with some neat laser vision eye stuff that was, I would have liked to see it up a little bit closer, because they showed a lot of stuff. But it's not until like near the end of the movie when the kills start racking up and this kid just pretty much goes batshit evil and is flying around and just totally brutally killing people. Now, one thing I do like about this movie is it has a pretty interesting, I wouldn't say twist ending, just an ending you weren't expecting. They set it up with this typical thing where you think it's going to end, and then they flip it at the last minute, and you're like, oh my goodness. So without spoiling the movie at all, I would actually have to say I like the effects, I like the kills, and I like the twist ending. And I love the idea of the plot of a what-if scenario of if basically Superman was evil. I do like that. But the overall pacing of this movie is what made it to where it was very boring to me. And personally, if they would have spiced it up with more deaths or just more action, I personally think that I would have liked this movie a lot more. Would I recommend it for you? I could recommend it to people, but I have to actually warn you, like I said, this is a very slow-paced movie. And it's not until like midway through, there's tons of gaps in between when people die where there's nothing really happening except people arguing. So the pacing is what kills this movie for me. Other than that, if you can handle the slow pacing of it and the slow build up to it and a nice twist ending, I can recommend that you go actually see this movie. Now, at this point, I am going to have some spoilers to this movie. So, at this point, if you don't plan on seeing the movie, go ahead and check out these spoilers. That way, you can actually get my personal take on this movie. If you do plan on seeing it, at this point, do not watch the rest of this because I'm going to spoil the movie for you. Basically, the fundamental issue they have with this movie is at the very beginning, the first scene you see, they obviously show you the parents are infertile. They can't have children of their own. And they show the meteorite crash, okay? So you basically know immediately that, okay, their kid, they did not adopt. They got it out of this pod. Because then they do this fast forward of like home videos of showing them raise the baby. And which I did not like that. I thought that the pacing, I would have rather had a better structure of them building the movie. But they show, the kid growing up and stuff like that. And, then it goes to him going into school. And eventually things start happening with the fact that the spaceship is calling to them that they have locked in the lower part of their barn. And, the kid goes there several times, and they try to play it off like, oh, he's just sleepwalking. Listen, you stupid-ass parents, you know he's a space alien that came out of that spaceship. You didn't tell him the truth of where he came from, and now he's behaving weird like that. You ought to know something ain't right. It's like, he's not an alien. The father starts picking up on this, but the mother, oh, no. The mother does not want to admit to it at all. So she's basically, oh, he's my baby. It's like, no, he ain't your damn baby. He ain't your kid, you stupid-ass woman. He's an alien, So as they progress on, he starts getting his powers, where he's like chewing on a fork, bending the fork in his mouth. And there's a part at school that he goes to where this one girl who kind of likes him because he's really smart, they're having this trust thing where they're in a circle where you're bouncing around and you're supposed to catch him. Well, this girl, because he showed up at her house the previous night, scared the shit out of her, because he's trying to fall in love with her. She didn't like that, so she didn't catch him, and he fell and hit his head. But it didn't really hurt him, so the teacher tells her, help pick him up, or you'll be, you'll get an F in this class. And this is the first thing that happens in the movie. She reaches down to pick him up. He grabs her hand and crushes her hand and breaks it. Okay. So naturally, the mother of this daughter wants charges filed against him because basically he butchered her hand up pretty bad, and the parents are like, oh no, we'll talk to him and all this other stuff. It's like, well, he's getting a 2-day suspension. Oh yeah, right, 2-day suspension. So they talk to him. It's like, do you know this is wrong? It's like, well, sometimes pain and suffering and hurting someone is a better for a good reason. And they're not getting any of these signs. Like, okay, this is weird, but they're like, okay, we're gonna have them talk, to a counselor or something. And so he goes and sees that girl again, the following night while she's in her bedroom, her arms in a cast, and she's like, scared shitless of him because he broke her arm. He's like, my mom doesn't want me to talk to you. So he's like, oh well, I'll take care of that. So what does the kid do? He goes to the woman's workplace, and this is the scene from the one of the trailers. He goes in there and he's doing stuff that makes the light bulbs explode. And when they do, glass gets in her face and in her eye. And this part was very, very cringeworthy. It was nasty. It shows her pull this giant glass shard out of her eye and all this blood spraying out. And then all of a sudden you see the windows fog up with his Brightburn logo that he's made on the windows, and she's freaking out, so she hides herself in the freezer. Now here's another thing I hate about this movie. Okay, she gets into the meat locker, and there's a lock on the inside of the meat locker. No other way to get in and out. Okay, there's not going to be a frickin' lock on the inside of a meat locker. One of those little bars you put in to lock the door. Why? If anyone's in there, they're not going to lock the door so someone from the outside can't get in. It should be the other way around. The lock should be on the outside of the meat locker door, not on the inside. Believe me, I know this. So that was really stupid. That was something that I thought was really dumb, but it didn't ruin the movie. I'm like, okay, that's supposed to be for tension, but anybody knows they don't have locks like that on the inside of a meat locker unless there's an alternate way of getting out of the freezer. Stupid. So naturally, Brightburn cuts through the doors with his laser vision and takes her away. You don't see her until the very end of the movie. And as it progresses, they can't find where her body is and stuff like that. And then it goes to basically, he's talking to the lady at work, the shrink, and the shrink happens to be related to him, like his cousin or something. I mean, he's adopted, but nonetheless. And he's like, well, you're going to have to tell me something, or the police are going to see you tomorrow. So he shows up at her house in the middle of the night and says to her pretty much, no, the police don't need to talk to me anymore, and you need to make sure to let them know not to talk to me. And she's like, no, I'm going to do my job. Now, go home, So he's mad, right? So what does he do? He goes and kills her husband. Yep. Husband didn't do shit to him. Brightburn's a fucking jerk. Brightburn is a jerk. Didn't do anything to him, and he kills him because that's how evil this guy is. This kid is, because his Brandon's father, is out having a good time drinking at the bar with this guy, and the guy decides to go home, and he's like, "Hey, you need a ride home?" "No, I'm fine. I can drive home fine." Well, when he's driving home, basically, the kid shows up and is telling him, "Listen, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, because the guy's like, I'm going to tell your father about this, and I know you ain't." So he's trying to drive home, and basically the kid wrecks him, okay? Wrecks him, the car won't start because Brightburn has this power to screw up electronics, apparently. And, so his car's stalled in the middle of the woods, so the kid Brightburn decides to pick the car up and then drop it on the ground. Now keep in mind, if someone's attacking you and you're in a car and they're picking you up, get the fuck out of the car. But no, this guy stays in the car. He's like, oh, and when he drops him, this was a cool part. When he comes down, the guy's mouth hits the steering wheel and it rips his whole bottom jaw. Totally unrealistic, but cool looking. So the guy's sitting there, he's literally trying to push his jaw back on as Brightburn comes over and starts drawing a symbol with the guy's blood from his face on the road, and the guy dies. Okay, so they're like, oh my God, that's so tragic, So they talk to the kid the next day, and they're like, well, your uncle died, how do you feel? It's like, he's dead. It's like, what? Well, you got to be upset about this. And at this point, the father knows, okay, this guy's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But the mom's still ignorant. No, he's my baby. I'm going to defend him no matter what. Which is stupid because I'm sorry. If your kid is that emotionless when people are dying after he hurts someone, there's something psychologically wrong with him. Now, considering if he was human. But you know damn well he's an alien from outer space. So why in the hell would you actually approve of this and go, oh no, he's fine. He's my baby. That's stupid. So the father, as the things progress and stuff, they're like, okay, this ain't right. The father decides, I'm going to take him out to the woods. And, he tries to shoot him in the head, because he's like, this kid, he's evil. I know he's killing these people. So he shoots his son in the head with a rifle. Doesn't kill the kid. Kid gets up, puts on his Brightburn outfit and grabs him, throws him down, and the father's pleading with him, and he does laser vision to him and melts a hole through his eyes, straight through his head, and kills his father. At that time, the mother is calling on his cell phone because she finds all this paraphernalia in his room of the Brightburn logos and all these images and stuff. He's like, oh my God, my baby, he's a killer. It's like, you're right. I didn't believe you, but he's a monster. And it's the kid. The kid's like, with the father's cell phone. It's like, yeah, I know, I'm home, Mom. He's like, oh crap, and you see him outside. And so he's flying through the house, destroying the house. She's like trying to get away from him and realizes, oh, that's right, the one and only time he got hurt where he bled was when he got cut when he was in the barn next to the spaceship. So she goes to the spaceship, breaks a piece of it off, puts it in her back pocket, and is trying to lure him out by whistling. Finally gets him to come out to go to stab him. And is not able to stab him. And this is where the cool twist comes in. He realizes it, knocks that out of her hand, picks her up, goes straight to the barn, mutilating her face, takes her way up into the air, and fucking drops her to her death. And the way the ending is, he sees a plane coming and he makes the plane crash on the house. That way it appears as everyone that died in the house wasn't because of him, but was because of this plane crashing, which was kind of stupid because they even act like at the ending they're like, oh, the mother and wife was, the mother and father were in there. And it's like, no, unless he zipped back real quick and got the father's body. But even then, it's like there's a big difference between being burned up, crispied up, and having a physical hole melted straight through your friggin' face. But nonetheless, I digress on that. And then they show this nice montage of stuff, of showing like buildings collapsing, crops being burned with the Brightburn logo, and him basically going around killing people. And that is Brightburn. Personally, I didn't like it. Like I said in my review, I thought it was a rather boring movie. I liked the death scenes, and the kids' acting was well done. Most all the actors were well done. But the overall plot, while it was a nice twist on the formula of basically making the guy a supervillain instead of a superhero, I thought the pacing was terrible. I did not like the opening. I thought it was a slow, prodding, boring movie, and the only aspects I liked was the ending. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Please hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm might actually recommend this to somebody else. Leave in the comments below if you're actually planning on watching Brightburn, if you've already seen it or not, and what do you think of this movie. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.